Ass Podcast. I am Evan J. Thomas. And this past week on my Rock Hard with Evan J. Thomas show, I debuted a badass new single called Age of Regret from songwriter Aaron Thompson, who's joining me today, and his modern darkwave project, Empty Streets. The video was premiered on Loudwire last week, and his Age of Regret EP is scheduled to be released in June. So I'd like to welcome to the show, Aaron Thompson. What's up, man?
Hey, what is up, Evan? Good to see you, my friend.
So it's Monday morning. I don't know where you're at, but how you doing today?
Well, first of all, thanks for telling me it's Monday. I did not know.
Probably don't with everything you do. And
but between my multiple job careers, COVID, and just a little bit of insanity, I don't really ever know what day it is.
I mean, it all mixes into one, especially when you don't have an actual job to go to.
Yeah, when you don't have a 9-to-5 schedule, things just kind of, it's more, am I working or am I not working?
Yeah,
you know?
That's basically how it goes. So first off with the show, how has the pandemic changed your outlook, just not only on music, but your life, the next couple of years or just recently?
Wow. I mean, the big answer, I think, for myself would be it's humbled me a lot. It showed me that the world can change drastically. Your life can change at the drop of a hat, or when the wind blows a different direction, or when nature decides to get crazy. And it's very again, the word humbling just keeps coming to mind. It just makes me appreciate what I have, both the moments and the time I have, the guitars I might have, like it just makes me appreciate everything. My dogs, my wife, the jobs I get to do, the life I get to live, and I just don't want to take it for granted at all, is what it's really shown me.
So before the pandemic, how much were you traveling or going to shows compared to the past year?
Oh, well, the last year, has there been any shows? I mean, I wish I could say I went to shows a lot more than, as you get older and life gets crazy. I don't quite get out as much as.
Well, not just you going to them, but you performing them as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, before my film career, I was in touring bands, for a couple years back in like the late 2007 to 2012 era, and that was it. That was the life I always wanted. It just being in a van with my best friends, and living like outlaws, city to city, and just trying to chase that dream. And obviously now with COVID and everything, Empty Streets has never performed live, because the first record I dropped was last summer.
Yeah,
and
Demons,
I was
correct?
Yeah, Demons, yeah. And I was kind of gearing up to start doing shows and touring in the beginning of 2020, and I started laying some of the groundwork for that, and then boom.
All got taken away and slid out.
Yeah, but again, I just decided, okay, well, even though that my plans aren't really kind of happening the way I thought, I've been given different kinds of gifts. And now I have time at home. So what do I do with that? Okay, let's make another record. Let's keep it moving,
And how are you promoting it? I mean, obviously, besides using a publicist, but I don't really see you on Facebook at all. You're on Instagram, so I see.
Yeah, I hate Facebook. I think it's just a cluttered mess of junk. Also, because of my adult film career, and a lot of my like cousins and family members are on Facebook. I kind of, I basically I use it just to keep in touch with a few hometown friends and family, or I don't use it at all.
Gotcha, understandable on that. So we're going to talk about the new EP coming out, Age of Regret. What should we expect from it, and what can you tell us about the songwriting and just the overall direction of this EP over Demons?
Yeah, so Demons was written over a couple of years, actually. I just kind of slowly was chipping away at that album in between filming and getting married and life and everything. And so I had a lot of time with Demons to just sort of almost too much time, where it just took forever. And I also, on Demons, I had no clue how to record. I made the whole album in my living room on one Yamaha synth, including the drums. I didn't even know how to use MIDI. I just played everything to the click track. So that record has an element of sort of amateurness, if you will, in a lot of the production. And just, again, I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew I had this idea of a type of a sound and the type of songs that, I was writing. And so I think with Age of Regret, you're going to finally hear a realized full sound with the production. We took it up a notch. I taught myself fucking MIDI during COVID, so now I know how to use a lot more tools at my disposal. Production wise, I bought a couple new synths. I've got Jaime, who plays in a really good band called Pierce the Veil, pretty big, maybe you've heard of him. He's back mixing
from your hometown, or back from your
he's a San Diego buddy of mine. And I tapped him to mix and master and a little bit of co-produce this record. So you're just going to get a bigger, more epic sound. The angry songs are angrier. The faster songs are faster. The slow songs are slower and sadder. Everything is just, this is like what I had in my head all along.
And the process of actually recording on your own, like you did with Demons, compared to actually being in a studio doing Age of Regret, do you find it a different process with you being the sole yes, no on everything compared to somebody else having another ear to it?
Well, I'm making Age of Regret at home as well, alone.
Oh, okay.
I'm not doing it because of COVID and just I have a studio, myself, that's decent enough. And so basically me and Jaime have just been Dropboxing and emailing each other files and notes and stuff. So we're trying to make records in this new weird world, and this is kind of the way it's done. But I actually think it's been pretty easy and pretty seamless. With good internet these days, you can kind of toss back ideas. We can Zoom chat. Again, I do miss the energy of being in a real studio with humans, and you get to bounce back and forth ideas off in real time in a room.
That's kind of what I was wondering.
Yeah,
how the process is by yourself compared to having a room full of engineers and people actually
right. And this is also the first music project that I've ever done that isn't a band. So I'm playing everything, I'm writing everything, I'm deciding everything. All the arrangements. It's not like I can ask my bass player to come up with something cool. I have to come up with it. And then I have to come up with the beat because there's no drummer. And then I have to come up with the harmonies because there's no backup singers. And so it's a whole hell of a lot more work, but I actually find it moves faster because there's not any cooks in the kitchen but me,
Exactly. And obviously you can see Aaron visually, and I've been noticing in different interviews in the past that you've been mistaken many times for Pete Wentz of Fall Out Boy. So how did you react when you got that early notoriety just by looking like him?
Oh man, well that's been going on for literally
20 years basically.
Yeah. In my, I come from San Diego. I played in pop punk bands. Fall Out Boy was a band that was big at the time. I loved and still love Fall Out Boy. I think they're a phenomenal band. And once Pete got kind of famous, a lot of people kind of were like, oh, you kind of look like him. You got the vibe of that guy, and I never thought much of it. But one of my old bands played a festival in Las Vegas, or was it Warped Tour? We played something, and I met him briefly backstage, and he does look a lot like me. He's just shorter than me.
That was going to say, because I met him once, I think it was Warped Tour as well. And
yeah.
He's probably
nice guy. I mean, we met for like 30 seconds, but he was a nice dude from what I remember.
So we'll talk a little bit about actually the first band that I saw that you were in. So you have a long musical history. You founded the band The Strangers 6 in 2003.
Yeah, you're dating me.
You're only 26. I know that. It's all good.
Yeah. I still play 26-year-olds in movies, so it's good.
That is true. You do. And so the band actually opened up for 30 Seconds to Mars, Panic at the Disco, The Misfits, and then you played on Warped Tour. You guys were also nominated for many times for, what was it, the Best Punk Band in San Diego?
It's the San Diego Music Awards.
182. And so what, during that early time of your career, did you learn about the music business?
Shit, have I learned about it?
What have you not learned?
I mean, like most young punks, you start just with your friends and having a good time. And actually, our first practice room wasn't even in a garage. My guitar player lived in a trailer park, and we were pretty poor, so we would tie fishing line and tack it to the ceiling of the trailer park living room and hang the microphone down because we couldn't buy a mic stand. We would sing into the karaoke mics while his mom would make us pizza.
Well, that's pretty cool that you would do it that way.
But yeah, just, man, I lost track. What was your original question? I started thinking about the old days.
What did you learn about the music business at your time early in your career?
I learned once, like when the Stranger Six got a manager and a record label and a booking agent, and once I started to see the business of it, to be honest, I didn't like it.
But I turned off like many people do.
Yeah, but I'm from Southern California. I've been in entertainment more or less my whole life. I was a freaking model when I was 17 in Hollywood, and I know this game. I know it's a game, and I always knew that, like a game, you kind of have to roll your eyes at some of it. You got to play it. You try to play it the best you can. You try not to cheat, and you try to win. And so I kind of, instead of maybe getting angry or upset at the business, or maybe sometimes when I felt it wasn't reciprocating what I wanted, I would just treat it like a challenge and try to find creative ways to still continue and get the results I wanted, or get the attention I wanted, or get the shows I wanted, or whatever it is. And I think that ultimately stems from just coming from the punk scene and doing everything DIY. If someone doesn't want to do business or work with me, or wants to rip me off or whatever, and a lot of bands, have the same story. I'm not telling anything different. I just learned, okay, fuck it, I'll do it myself then.
Yeah, basically you can do that. You also then, after Stranger Six, you joined Phoenix TX and basically did some headlining tours. 20 is what I saw here.
What's that? Sorry.
20 countries you guys toured?
Something like that. I mean, we were in like France, Germany, Switzerland, Luxembourg. I mean, that whole area of Europe we covered in like a month. 18, 19, 20 countries, something like that. Yeah, it was a lot. It was fun, really fun. And it was probably the biggest scale tour I had ever done, because most of the bands I was in previously were smaller, and so it was really fun to have like a tech and a driver, shit. I was used to pulling driving shifts.
Well, I mean, yeah, especially those early bands, you basically, kind of switch off.
We would rotate.
So how many tours can you say you've actually been on as a performer?
I mean, off and on, like with the Stranger Six, we were doing our own DIY, little, like a week, 2 weeks up the West Coast and back, stuff like that. So I don't know about how many, but I've freaking played, I don't know, over 1,000 shows at this point in my life, probably, or something, insane. Been playing since I was, I played my first show, I was 15, and I'm 26 now.
Yeah, exactly. So some of the bands that you've been in, how many of those guys are actually still active in other bands? Because what I've seen is, I think you kind of hit on it earlier about expectations in the industry. When you start seeing how the industry actually is, it kind of eats people alive, and people lose interest because of the whole business sense of it.
But what it also does is it weeds out people who aren't true to this. I like to call, I'm a lifer. Like, I don't care what job I might have that's not music. I don't care how old I am, where I live. I'm gonna be writing. I'm gonna be recording. I don't even care if anyone listens to it. It's just what and so I don't need money or fame. Obviously, those things are great. Results are great, but that's not my primary motivating factor. And so what a lot of guys who fall by the wayside when they didn't get rich or famous or got a little tough, that's fine. It just means it's not this life, because this is a lifestyle. It's not even a job. It's a way of life, and I hold that very dear. And so no amount of shitty business or lack of money or results would ever deter me,
Yeah, and I mean, I've only been on one tour in my life in 2019, and it was an amazing 2 weeks. And now with COVID and everything, I just want to get out and travel.
Yeah.
I mean, travel and see shows, because it's so amazing. But holy shit, just that whole lifestyle, like you said, of touring has got to be crazy, because you're in a different city basically every night, and just having fun and doing whatever you want. So
I've done a lot of great things in my life at this point, and pretty wild bucket list stuff. But to this day, nothing compares to being on tour. It's the greatest thing ever.
Speaking about little bucket list stuff, obviously looking at Aaron, he does go by the other moniker, as you see in the corner, Small Hands. You're in the adult industry. You're married to Ms. Joanna Angel.
Yes.
And, how did you two actually meet?
I was still playing with Phoenix TX. We're just doing like little radio festivals, a couple spot shows, nothing, major, during when I met her. But actually I owned a business at the time in San Diego that was a merchandise, a print company. We made merch. Okay. And I made Burning Angel, which is Joanna Angel's company that she founded like 15 years ago. I was making her merch. She was my customer. So we didn't know each other at all. And there was a male porn star at the time who was from San Diego, and he was a punk rock guy. And me and him knew each other from the music scene. And he kind of set us up on like a blind date, basically.
So and the first move in that little meeting.
What's that?
Who made the first move in the meeting?
Her. It was her. Joanna. She started flirting with me on like GChat when she would place orders for merch.
Okay.
And I thought I was being like catfished or something. Like this isn't real. Like, because obviously I was a fan of hers. Before I ever met her, I was a huge fan, and so were all my buddies. And so it was just an honor to be doing her merchandise. But then when she started kind of talking a little flirtatious with me, I'm like, there's no way this is real. And at some point she had to be like, dude, do you want to like hang out with me or what? And I said, yes.
So she basically took the reins and ran it, obviously.
Yeah, she did.
Early on in your relationship with her, you were actually writing the scores for her films.
Yeah, I still do sometimes when I have time. But for about 6 years, I did not only all the soundtrack scores, all the music you hear in Burning Angel films is 90% original from me, but I also was the editor. So I edited the movies. I did the graphic design for the box covers. I did the posters. I was the one-man marketing and art department.
So that was basically most of the stuff I saw at the conventions that I've been at.
Yep.
Like everything you do. So what actually made you step in front of the camera and go to the other side of the industry?
The short answer is Joanna made me. I did not have any dreams of being an adult star. I was perfectly happy being a shitty band dude, and playing in punk bands. And, I was bartending in San Diego when I met Joanna too, as well as owning my business. So I had a very full thing going. But after a couple of years of dating, long distance from San Diego to LA, 2 years actually went by of us dating like that. She wanted me to move in with her, and so I moved up to LA. And I said, okay, well, I'll join a band up here. I'll go work at a bar somewhere. Cool, no big deal. And she didn't really like that. Not the band part, but when I worked at a bar, I used to drink a lot more. I was getting home at 5 a.m. Just it's not really great for a serious adult relationship unless your wife's also a bartender with you. And mostly she just was like, the only time I can hang out with you is when I come into your fucking bar, and this is getting old, just sitting in your bar.
And side of the camera basically is what.
Yeah, and so basically I was like, well, what am I going to do? And she said, well, why don't you try your hand at, or try your dick at, porn? And I said, no, I'm good. Because I had been on sets at this point, helping and just being her dude. I would come hang out. I mean, who doesn't love to watch beautiful people fuck? And I was just there having fun as a fan. And again, just kind of like a PA, I would help move lights for the camera guy or whatever needed to be done. And I would watch the male talent do their job. And I learned this is an incredibly difficult job for guys, especially at the top tier levels, and to do consistently. And I would watch guys at their very best, and I would watch guys at their very, very worst days. And it's insane amount of pressure. And, the stakes are really high, and the humility is high. And so I basically said, no, I'm good. I don't want to do any of that. And, and she said, well, you're going to, because I own this movie product, I own Burning Angel. It's my movie studio, and this is the family business. And if you love me, you're going to help the family business. Because she said, think of it this way: every time I have to hire a male porn star, I have to pay them.
Your microphone went out. Uh-oh.
Are we here?
There you go. You're back now.
We're back?
Yeah, you're back. I don't know. So you were saying something. Yeah, I was like, what the hell just happened there?
Where'd I leave you at?
I think it was after the hiring of the male talent.
So basically, she conveyed to me that every time, she had to hire a male porn star, he gets a check at the end of the day. She has to pay him. Since she owes the company, that's money directly from her. Whereas if all of a sudden me, her boyfriend, who just loves her and is doing it for free because he loves her, she basically made a business decision to help save money.
Well, I mean,
and that's how
you out, I guess.
And that's how I started my porn career, was just literally as a favor to her. And again, I didn't get paid, and I just worked for her movie studio, either with her or she would direct me, having sex with other girls. And I did that for about a year or two, again, just kind of as a funny side job, something fun stories I could tell my friends. But I started to kind of get popular, started to get fans, and then other movie studios started to come calling, and other directors wanted to hire me. And then at that point, the doors just blew open, and it was, from there.
It was like, free my man.
Yeah, I mean, Joanna kicked me out that door and said, go make us some money.
So I'm looking at your little screen name again. You have the moniker Small Hands. Is that an inside joke, or where did that name come about? It does look like you have small hands.
I wish. I mean, they're small. They're not big, but they're not like freakishly small. Basically, I wish I would have picked a cooler name, because I didn't really plan on this being a big career, and I was just helping out my girl at the time. When I was filling out paperwork, because every shoot you have to fill out all this legal paperwork, it asked for you to write a stage name down. I didn't have one the first movie I made. I didn't even think about it. And so she said, just put anything down. It doesn't matter. No one cares. and I literally couldn't think of anything. And I did not want to pick something that was super, alpha male. Like,
cheesy.
It's just, yeah. And also that kind of machismo is not who I am as a person. It's not my style. I'm a little more self-loathing, and I like to set the bar low and pleasantly surprised. So I just picked a dumb name because I have little hands and little feet, and most people think you have a little, when you have that, and here we are. So that's literally it. There's nothing cool or interesting. It's just a dumb name.
The funny part is, the first time I ever saw the name, I'm like, what is this? Like, who?
Yeah.
So
well, it was
the first, but it stood out. So that's
the first year I've learned now on all the call sheets, girls' agents would not tell them you're going to bang Small Hands tomorrow, because they would be like, what the hell is that? That's not even a name. So all the call sheets just said Joanna Angel's boyfriend. And they're like, oh, that guy, the tattoo guy. Yeah. Like, so that's like that's how I was known until I got more known. That's
awesome. And actually, in the past few years, I've seen here that you have won male performer basically in every adult trade association award ceremony.
Yeah. Someone should look into that, because I don't know if I'm the first person in history to ever do that, but I might be. I'm too busy to track it myself, or maybe someone can.
That's still impressive, I must say.
Yeah, I mean, again, like, it's just I always say it's just an honor to be able to do this job, and to be able to, have these connections with so many beautiful people, and I mean, to get paid to have sex with the best girls at sex in the world, and then get to make the music I love, and I get to be married and have a beautiful family. Like, come on, like, this is it.
So I'm actually going to go into a quick little fast 5 question and answer thing right now.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is just throw out a quick little question. You answer it is whatever comes off your mind first. Sound good?
Good.
The first one, your favorite current band.
Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. It's not current, but it's been my favorite for like 20 years, and it never changes.
Well, that was actually my next one. Your favorite all-time band then is?
All-time would be The Clash.
The Clash, okay. Besides Joanna, favorite female performer you have worked with?
Let's see. This one, I literally don't have one. I have like 50 favorites, you know, like, so I can't name one name, but there's like I put it this way, 90% of the girls I like, or no, wait, 80% of the girls I like, 10% I love, and 10%, you know, whatever.
Performer you want to work with that you haven't?
Well, she's not in the business anymore, but Janine, she was on the Blink-182 Enema of the State cover, and I think she was actually the first like real porn star that I was like, who is this, and like, I never was that, I would watch porn like every other horny youth, but I never cared much about being a fan of an individual girl or just following their every move until I saw Janine. So it would be Janine.
So if you had to pick one job, would it be lead singer or adult performer?
Both. And I have both.
Pick one. You get to pick one. You have to cut one out for the rest of your life. Which one?
I would pick singer because at some point, being as I get older, I'm not going to look less good naked. But I could put on a suit and sing till I'm in my old age.
And if there's any way you could introduce me to Brandy Love, I would, love you for the rest of your life.
I've never worked with her. She's one of the few. It's kind of a Russian roulette of you don't really choose. You just the director's cast, and but I've met her a couple times at Exotica, and she's really nice. Yeah, sweet lady.
Yeah, I've met her I think once, and she's, like you said, sweet lady.
Yeah,
it's always good
and super hot.
Yes, definitely super hot. So about the rest of the music, what can we see coming up with you and Empty Streets in the next year or so? I mean, obviously the pandemic's still going on, no shows. Right. You're gonna have more of a social media presence, or what should we expect from you?
I mean, I'm kind of old school where I'm not on TikTok. I'm not on Snapchat. I don't like that stuff. Sorry, that sounds bad. It's not that I don't like it. I think all that stuff has elements of fun or cool or interesting aspects, but I'd rather be writing music or like doing. I don't want to sit on my phone. I already sit on my phone too much. That's what I'm trying to say. So as far as more presence, I mean, just my Instagram is the home base for everything. So as long as you're following that, you'll get everything under the sun that I do. That's allowable by Instagram.
And what is your Instagram handle so that people could
at @thesmallhands_, and it's verified, so you'll see it. There's a lot of imposter accounts, a lot of dudes trying to be me, trying to get laid. So make sure you get the one with the blue check. It's me, and don't be fooled.
And any chance you will be doing any virtual concerts?
Yeah, man, that's actually something I've been kind of wanting to get going, because who knows when real concerts will be here. I think I'm going to because I'm going to drop the next record in June, and I think I'm going to plan on like a record release show, some kind of virtual something, maybe where I'll just perform it back, front to back in its entirety, something like that. And then the minute the world opens up for shows, man, I'm there, both as a performer and as a fan.
If you come through Chicago, or at least nearby in the Midwest, so definitely when you come out in this area, check you guys out, or check you out and your show.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty
cool.
Hell yeah. So again, the new album or the new EP, Age of Regret's coming out June. Do you have a date in June that is coming out, or is this June? I don't yet. My birthday is June 25th, so that's an ezy one. I was maybe just going to pick that, but sometime in June. Sometime in June, you can get a nice feel-good summer album. There you go, with some this and some hardcore and all that stuff in there. So and then obviously the new single is out. You can get it all over the streaming, Spotify, wherever. Yep.
Watch the video on YouTube, play it on Spotify, Shazam that shit, whatever you're all doing these days. And anything else you would like to say before we not cancel this, but kind of. Whoa. Yeah, holy shit. We don't need to cancel. Too much of that coming on to begin with. No, I just want to say thanks to all the fans out there who are open-minded and cool enough to come on this adventure with me of both filming, music, art. I mean, I'm a creative guy, and it's just, I'm so grateful and thankful that enough people like all of my creative outputs, and it allows me to keep doing it. So thanks. The coolest part was the moment I got the song, I played the song first. Then I looked at the picture of you with your hand like that. I'm like, why do I know that guy?
Then I read the bio, and I'm like,
Do-do-do-do-do.
now I see where he's at. So,
Yeah.
Aaron, I appreciate you joining me today on the
Hey,
Badass
thanks, man.
Podcast. And again, make sure you're following Aaron on Instagram. And what was that again? It was small hands underscore?
The small hands
underscore. Make sure it has a little blue check mark in the corner so you know.
Don't be fooled by the imposters.
Definitely not. And Aaron, until the concerts come back, can't wait to see you guys in concert, but make sure you guys are following the EP when it comes out in June. All right, rock on.
Thank you.